The Bowling Green Falcons have been a team steadily improving record-wise in the Mid-American Conference. And last year, albeit this team did leave some wins on the table, and it needs a lot of improvement in a lot of areas coming into 2023. But the Falcons made a bowl game last year, and there's a lot of expectation on why that team can absolutely do it again here in 2023. Are the Bowling Green Falcons going to be bowling back-to-back seasons here in 2023, or do they maybe not improve enough statistically wise, maybe not improve enough on the field, and maybe this team just misses out on a bowl game or even starts to fall back down the ranks of the Mid-American Conference? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. Hey, I'm previewing and predicting all 133 FBS level college football teams this summer. I'm almost done. Chances are your favorite team has a video on my channel, if that's the case, or if that not be the case, I should say subscribe, ring the bell so you can also hear my thoughts during the season as well. But there are more ways than that for you guys to help me support my channel. Hey, you're doing one right now by watching the video. You can do more by liking, commenting, sharing, and anything else you guys are willing and able to do to help me support my channel, because whatever you guys are able to do, I'll greatly appreciate. So let's dive into talking about Bowling Green football here in 2023. Before we talk about the Falcons, we got to know how we do things around here. We go through a roster overview and look at who the team lost, who's coming back, and who's coming in through the transfer portal and recruiting class, as well as taking a look at the 2023 Falcon football schedule, and we'll give it a game-by-game preview and prediction. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Bowling Green Falcons in 2023. Taking a look at the quarterback room first, Matt McDonald, your primary starter over the past couple of seasons, is gone. 2,669 yards, 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on 61, just over 61% completion percentage last year. Was a pretty solid quarterback for this Bowling Green team, so losing him is definitely going to be a pretty substantial loss for this team. However, Camden Orth does come back. 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. I thought he played solidly enough when he got playing time for the Falcons, but I do not think he will be the starter. No, look at former Missouri Tiger and most recently Indiana Hoosier and Connor Bazelak. Yes, this is an SEC caliber quarterback coming over to play for Bowling Green. He's going to be a very, very good player for them. He's got a lot of good skill position players that we're going to talk about here in a minute, but this is the guy that can absolutely thrive in a system like Bowling Green. So he, I believe, will be that starter entering 2023, and I don't think there will be much competition about it. That's an SEC Big Ten level quarterback. At least he has proven so, that he can play like that in the past. He might be one of the better quarterbacks in the Mid-American Conference this year. Take a look at the running back room. Well, you got pretty much everyone else coming back for this team. Now, moving people around on the depth chart is definitely going to be a very interesting thing to look at for this team. But there are people coming back to this team that put in pretty solid carries last season, including your leading rusher, Jason Patterson, 583 yards and 1 touchdown last season. Jamal Johnson had 250 yards for the team last season. Teron Keith had some carries there as well. But Terrion Stewart, to my knowledge, did not have a carry last year, at least that I'm seeing, but he is coming back this year, was the leading rusher in 2021. So we'll see what kind of role he plays in 2022. You figure maybe he is that number one guy, but again, we'll see. Wide receiver room does lose some really, really good pieces, but none better than Tyrone Broaden. No, not the leading receiver last year, but 506 yards, 7 touchdowns, was a machine for this team. CJ Lewis, your 4th leading receiver, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, is also gone. And then Kavon Kroom. So that is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th leading. That is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th leading receivers among wide receivers last season that are gone. But that does mean that your top guy does come back. And apologies if I pronounce this name wrong. Odu Hillier is coming back. 747 yards and 6 touchdowns. Very good number 1 option for Connor Bazelak. Jalen Embry and Austin Osborne also come back. And then a ton of transfers enter this Bowling Green program. Abdul Fatai Ibrahim, Finn Hogan, and Jalen Tillman as well will be coming into this program to help give the wide receiver room a boost. In the tight end room, Christian Sims is gone, was your leading receiver among tight ends, and actually 3rd overall last season with around 450 yards and a couple touchdowns. But Harold Fannin, Levi Garazek, Andrew Bench, Griffin Little, this team is loaded with tight ends. And on the offensive line, Jakari Robinson and Jalen Grant are gone. However, Alex Wolschlager and Tunde Fadukasi is coming back, as well as getting a transfer over in Hunter Deo, converted defensive lineman, I believe, over from Iowa State. That will help this team out a lot on the offensive line. So there's the offense for Bowling Green, led by Connor Bazelak. If the offense can find guys behind Hillier to really step up, it's going to be a pretty good offense this year, I think. But let's take a look at the defense now, right? Again, there is a lot of improvement needing to be made on the defensive side of the ball. There's improvement needing to be made on the offensive side of the ball too, but defensively especially. And you lose some really good players on the defensive line. Carl Brooks, Walter Hare, and Blaine Spires are all going to be gone. Brooks led the team with 10 sacks last season, so that is a big loss there for this team. And Jair himself actually had 4 sacks as well. Who does come back, though? Anthony Hawkins should be an O, not an I. Apologies for the typo there. 35 tackles in the sack for him last season. Dontrez Brown, De'Aaron Kelly, and Billy Roberts, some other names that will return for the defensive line for the Falcons here in 2023. Linebacker-wise, you do lose a couple pretty good players here. 2 top 5 tacklers from last season are gone. That's DJ Taylor, 78 tackles, a sack and a half, and 2 interceptions for him last season. J.B. Brown, again, another top 5 tackler, 52 tackles, a sack and a half for him last season. But that's about it. Otherwise, pretty much everyone else comes back. Your third leading tackler, 77 tackles for Darren Anders last year. He comes back, as well as guys by the name of Brock Horn. Very close to being a top 5 tackler, was actually 6th on the team last year. Demetrius Hardeman and Devon Ferguson, among some others, return to this linebacking unit. Now for the defensive back room, Chris Bacon is going to be gone, was the leading tackler last year, 84 tackles, 2 interceptions last season. And Jordan Anderson is going to be gone as well. 5 passes defended, I believe led the team last season. Nope, 2nd on the team. My apologies for that. Who did lead the team in passes defended? That was Jordan Oladokin, and I know I'm skipping a line, we'll get back to it, but guys like Jalen Burton, Patrick Day also come back, Trent Sims, Deshaun Jones, some very key parts in the secondary last year that will be this year, and then a couple transfers. Steve Lubicher and Shamau Duncan Niusulu will be transferring into this program. Your head coach is Scott Loeffler. Apologies if I said the last name wrong. Your offensive coordinator is Max Warner. Defensive coordinator Sammy Lawanson. I believe this is the team that has both co-offensive and co-defensive coordinators, so I just picked a name, threw it on the board. Here's the schedule for the Falcons in 2023. Now, any game at home is going to be underlined, while any game on the road will be in italics or that slanted text. Any game you see in green is a game I think the Falcons are going to win easily. Any game in yellow is a back-and-forth 50-50 type game, but the Falcons will be able to win, and red is a loss. I think a lot of the Falcons season is going to be determined by this first game on the road against Liberty. It is going to be a very tough game for them. I think Liberty is going to be one of the better teams out of Conference USA this season. Again, they're moving over from the independent ranks, and there's a lot of really good talent on that team. Yes, some good talent does leave, but they also got a really good coach coming in there. Jamie Chadwell had tremendous success at Coastal Carolina, is going to bring that to Liberty, of course, university there over in Virginia. The Flames, I think, are going to be really good this year, and I think are going to be a little bit too dynamic. I don't know if Bowling Green is going to be well adapt already in week 1 defensively to be able to handle what Jamie Chadwell and this Liberty offense is going to be able to throw at you. So I do have this as a loss for the Bowling Green Falcons. Again, this may very well be a game that can determine whether or not Bowling Green makes a bowl game. You'll find out my final prediction here in a minute. Let's get you to your first home game of the year against Eastern Illinois. Should be able to win that one there fairly easily. You go on the road to play Michigan. They're one of the best teams in the country. Sorry, Bowling Green, you are not going on the road and beating the Michigan Wolverines. Way too much talent for the Falcons to be able to handle. Then you get your first conference game of the year. It's a home game, but it's against the Ohio Bobcats. Again, if this Bowling Green defense cannot show improvements from last year, there are a lot of offenses on this schedule that are going to be able to shred you and dice you up, and Ohio is one of those offenses. You got a returning quarterback in Curtis Rourke, lots of skill position talent, wide receiver, running back room. O'Shawn Allison is actually coming back to that room. Some good talent on the offensive line. And even if Bowling Green's offense with Connor Bazelak is just moving, there are going to be enough pieces on this Bobcat defense to be able to stop it, slow it down. I got this as a loss for the Bowling Green Falcons Then you got to go on the road. You play the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This is going to be a much improved Yellow Jacket team this season. A lot of transfers coming in. There's some really good high-profile Power 5 transfers. I know they're a Power 5 program, but still a lot of good high-profile, really talented transfers coming in there. You got a new head coach in Brent Key that's supposed to bring in a revitalized system as well. So too much talent for the Falcons to be able to compete with. Again, especially offensively, a lot of really talented wide receivers especially have been brought in to that program. And even though Jeff Sims is gone to Nebraska, still going to be a very good team. Too much for Bowling Green to handle. It's a loss for the Falcons. And then your 5th loss of the season already. I think you're going to lose that game to the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the entire conference. Again, there are a lot of underrated, overlooked, really talented quarterbacks in this conference. But his name is escaping my mind right now. Brett Gabbert. My apologies. He is coming back to this team while wide receiver is a question mark. Gabbert is going to have enough arm talent. He's going to have enough IQ to be able to get it past this Bowling Green defense, and the Falcons offense just won't be able to keep up. There are a lot of solid players on this Red Hawk defense coming back, so that'll be a loss for Bowling Green as well. Not an ideal start. Again, it's a very tough front half of the schedule. The back half is a little bit more manageable, but you do mix in your tough games here and there. And it starts off with a Week 7 game on the road against Buffalo. And I see this one as another loss for Bowling Green. So according to me, you're going to have to win out there from Week 8 in order to make a bowl game. But why I have them losing to Buffalo, Buffalo's got a lot of returning talent in the running back room. They're going to be able to punch it down this Falcons defense throat. And defensively, this is going to be, I believe, one of the better units in the Mid-American Conference this season. A lot of returning talent there. Again, just too much defensive intensity and strength. They will overpower the Falcons and win that game. But now you come up and the Falcons have a chance to build a little bit of momentum. You get to come back home, play a game in Week 8 against Akron, and I do think with the way that the Falcons have been spiraling there, you lost 5 straight games, I do think Akron's going to make it a little tough for you here in this game. However, I do think Bowling Green is going to be able to win fairly comfortably here. Maybe this is a 10 to 13 point win, but again, Akron might give them their struggles here. But it's a game that Bowling Green, again, Connor Bazelak's going to be too much for the Zips defense to handle. And again, there are a lot of really good skill position players on this Bowling Green Falcon offense, and Akron just does not have the talent defensively to be able to keep up, especially with some of the deep ball threats that Bowling Green has and some of the speed in that running back room. Same kind of story with Ball State. That's a team that loses quite a bit of talent. There's going to be a lot of overhaul to that Ball State team, and Bowling Green does have a lot coming back, some really good players coming in, and again, it's just up to the Ball State defense. Can it slow down Connor Bazelak and this Bowling Green passing attack? And I do not think so. So that'll be a win for the Bowling Green Falcons. Then you got to go on the road and play Kent State. While this one may be a tricky one too, I do think Kent State has a lot of solid talent still on that football team. Well, it quite frankly is a team that lost a ton off of last season. Quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, defensively, that team just lost too much talent, I believe, to be able to recoup well from that. And I think they're really, really going to struggle in the Mid-American Conference this year. They may prove to be one of the worst teams in the country. Sorry to my Golden Flash fans out there. That'll be a win for the Bowling Green Falcons. But you have a tough one here in Week 12. Now, it is a home game, and in order to make a bowl game, you have to win this game, right? You're sitting at 4-6 right now with 2 games left. You have to win out. And unfortunately for Bowling Green, I think there are very few teams that can slow down this Toledo offense with DeQuan Finn, a lot of returning talent in the skill position players, and the defense is loaded again as well. There's just very few teams in the Mid-American Conference that are going to be able to slow down Toledo enough to beat them, and I do not think Bowling Green is one of those teams. So I do see that as a loss for the Bowling Green Falcons, which means no bowl game, but you do get redemption here in Week 13. I do think you beat Western Michigan, again, much like Kent State, a team that I think is going to be competitive in the Mid-American Conference, but they may lose a lot of close one possession games. They just lost too much talent. Bowling Green will win that game. So overall, I got Bowling Green sitting at 5-7. If they can pull out another win in the front half, or maybe even beat Buffalo, again, that Liberty game is very manageable there on the road. This is a very tough schedule for Bowling Green with the talent that I believe is here to be able to navigate. So I got them just shy of a bowl game, but it wouldn't surprise me to see this team get to 6-6. That's my thoughts on the Falcons. Let me know yours in the comment section below. And as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder.